Welcome back, Shabbat Shalom again, Israel, as we continue our study in Genesis, and we're talking about condemnation and justification. We're talking about sin and acknowledging our sin and how we overcome our sin. Most important subjects in the Bible, in my opinion, is how to overcome sin. Sin is something that all of us suffer from. Sin is something that causes all types of problems with people, and mental problems and emotional problems. Sin has been a plague, and is a plague, a curse on the earth. As a matter of fact, when we look at Revelation chapter 22, and welcome back, family, as we're getting back into the word. Revelation chapter 22. Notice what it says, and this goes with Ezekiel chapter 47. Ezekiel chapter 47, but we're looking at it in Revelation chapter 22. So if you want the two witnesses, this is Revelation 22, and the second witness is Ezekiel chapter 47. So you have the mouth of two or three witnesses, let every word be established. But here in Revelation chapter 22, beginning at verse 1, and going from verse 1 down to verse 4, notice what it says. And he showeth me a pure river of water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding out of the throne of Yah and of the Lamb. And in the midst of the street of it, and on either side of the river, there was the tree of life, which bare 12 manner of fruits, and yielded her fruit every month. And the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. And there shall be no more curse. No more curse. That is sin. No more sin, no more death, no more curse. But the throne of Yah and of the Lamb shall be in it, and his servants shall serve him. And they shall see his face, and his name shall be in their foreheads. So the name in the forehead, many people don't understand. It means that the permanent character of the Father will be our permanent character, which is what Adam received from the hand of his father. Okay, and we receive it now from the Father through the second Adam, Messiah, who paid the penalty that we can be justified from our sin, declared innocent. To be declared innocent as if you never sinned, though we all have sinned. But that's what it means to be justified from sin. He said, there shall be no more curse. And we saw also a witness from Hebrews that said, the last enemy that shall be destroyed is death. And again, Revelation chapter 20, verses 14 and 15, Revelation chapter 20, verses 14 and 15. Notice what it says. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. The lake of fire represents the second death. And so there'll be no more death. Death itself will die. Okay, so the last enemy that be destroyed is death. Satan will be in the lake of fire with the beast and the false prophet. All false prophets will be in the lake of fire. Okay, that's what it says. Revelation, the same chapter 20, Revelation chapter 20, verse 10. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone. And it adds, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. So the beast and the false prophet are the first ones. The beast and the false prophet are the first ones to go into the lake of fire. Notice again, not even in the first resurrection, when the wicked are destroyed that we see now on planet Earth, they're all going to be destroyed. Not even just wicked people are put in the lake of fire until the second resurrection. But in the first resurrection, notice Revelation chapter 19, verse 20 and 21. Revelation 19, actually from 19:19 to verse 21. Revelation 19:19 down to verse 21. And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army, that is, against Messiah. Imagine that. All these people claiming to be Christians, and they're going to line up with the beast in the system that he created of man-made Christianity to fight against the Messiah. And I saw the beast and the armies and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. That's us. And the beast was taken. That means captured. The word taken is captured. And with him, the false prophet that wrought miracles before him. It's not just one person. The beast and the false prophet are a whole system. The whole system of man-made religion. All of the false prophets, all of the people that are of the beast power, that work for the beast power, they'll be captured. And it says, wrought miracles before him, which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast and them that had worshipped his image. These both, that is the beast and the false prophet, were cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone. And the remnant, that is the rest of the people that weren't the leaders of the false religion, of the beast and the false prophet and the whole Babylon system, the remnant were slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse, which sword proceeded out of his mouth. That is the word of power from the Father's Son. And all the fowls were filled with their flesh. And then, of course, we know from Ezekiel, we'll be burying them for 7 months. Let's take a look at that. I know people don't believe that, because you know why people don't believe it? Because they don't do what? They don't read their Bible. Ezekiel chapter 39. Ezekiel chapter 39. Let's help people out that don't read their Bible. Read your Bible, the whole thing. Don't just read the New Testament, because you're not going to get salvation alone from the New Testament. You need the whole word of the Father. If you reject any part of the word of the Father, according to his word, you've rejected the whole thing. See? So you call yourself New Testament Christians, you have none of the Bible. Zero. You can't reject part of the Bible and claim to believe in the Creator. There are people in history that because the Bible has been outlawed, that's all they had was pieces to read. Okay, they have that. In times of ignorance, Yah winked. But now he commands all men in these days to repent. So people calling themselves New Testament Christians, trying to follow traditions of people that didn't have the advantages you have, you're not following any of the Bible. Zero. Zero. If you change any piece of it or try to leave stuff out, you've rejected the whole thing. Ezekiel chapter 39, beginning at verse 1 and going down to verse 9. Ezekiel chapter 39, this is the same as Revelation 19 and 20. Revelation 19:20 is right here in Ezekiel 39. Ezekiel 39, beginning at verse 1 and going down to verse 9. Therefore, thou son of man, prophecy against Gog. Go look up who Gog is. We study in Genesis. We're going to get to that. And say, thus saith the Most High Yahweh. Behold, I'm against thee, O Gog, chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. And I will turn thee back and leave but the sixth part of thee, and will cause thee to come up from the north parts, and will bring thee upon the mountains of Israel. And I will smite thy bow out of thy left hand, and cause thine arrows to fall out of thy right hand. So your weapon's not going to help you. And thou shalt fall upon the mountains of Israel, thou and all thy bands, and all the people that is with thee. And I will give thee unto the ravenous birds of every sort, and to the beasts of the field to be devoured. Thou shalt fall upon the open field, for I have spoken it, said the Most High Yahweh. And I will send a fire on Magog and on them that dwell carelessly in the isles, and they shall know that I am Yahweh. So will I make my holy name known in the midst of my people Israel, and I will not let them pollute my holy name anymore. And the heathen shall know that I am Yahweh, the Holy One in Israel. Behold, it is come, and it is done, saith the Most High Yahweh. This is the day whereof I have spoken. And they that dwell in the cities of Israel shall go down and shall set on fire and burn the weapons, both the shields and the bucklers, the bows and the arrows, and the handstaves and the spears, and them that burn them with fire 7 years. Verse 10. So they shall take no wood out of the field, neither cut down any of the forest, for they shall burn the weapons with fire, and they shall spoil those that spoil them, and rob those that rob them, saith the Most High Yahweh. Verse 11. And it shall come to pass in that day that I will give unto Gog a place there of graves in Israel, the valley of the passengers on the east of the sea. And it shall stop the noses of the passengers. And there shall they bury Gog and all his multitude. And they shall call it the valley of Hamon-Gog. Verse 12. And 7 months shall the house of Israel be burying them, that they may cleanse the land. That's the same as Revelation 19, giving you more detail. There you go. That's right. So people claiming, we're New Testament Christians. Okay, you can be New Testament Christian. That's your business, but you don't have none of the Bible. Just because you're reading the New Testament, you have zero. You're not getting any knowledge of the truth, nor of righteousness, nor of the Holy Father. You're not getting no knowledge of the Messiah. You're creating your own when you just use part of the Bible. Messiah is from Genesis to Revelation. That's Messiah. From Genesis to Revelation is him. So you try to cut out part of him and think you got him. You don't got him. You're fooling yourself. You're being deceived. Now we go back to Genesis. Genesis chapter 3. So we saw where the first lie was told. We saw the principles of the religion of Satan. What are the principles? You can disobey the Heavenly Father and you can still live. What are the principles? You shall not surely die. You can be your own God. What does that do? It makes you naked. Following the devil's principles makes you spiritually naked. And that's why the Messiah is saying in Revelation, right before the 7th plague, he said, I come quickly. Blessed are they that cover themselves so that I don't see their shame and they be found naked. Genesis chapter 3. Then we saw them blaming the father and being scared and running from their father. All right. Now, father deals with the serpent. Verse 14, Genesis chapter 3, verse 14. And Yahweh Most High said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. So apparently, prior to this, the serpent didn't travel on its belly. Did you notice that? Part of the curse on the serpent, because it was used of Satan, is it no longer can fly. It was on its belly. No longer can fly. Okay, so it had ability to fly, but the father took its ability away, and it was now scurrying on its belly. All right, verse 15. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. That's right. So when you look up certain things, like if you was to look up cherubim or seraphim, one of them, it tells you it's a flying serpent. Let me look it up so I can tell, so I'm not lying to you. Let me look it up. Let's see. Seraphim. Yeah, it is. There it is. Yeah. Seraphim means saraf, poisonous serpent, a saraf. Yeah. That's interesting. Seraphim means saraf, sharaf, 8313. That is a poisonous, specifically saraf, a symbolic creature, fiery serpent. And the Bible indicates seraphim could fly. It indicates seraphim can fly. So apparently, Satan used an animal that used to be able to fly, a flying serpent. But now it's going on its belly because Kirsty said, you're going to be on your belly. Now, he told the serpent, telling Satan, I'm going to put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed, and it shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. The seed is a him. The seed is the enmity. The seed is the enmity. Who is the seed? It is Messiah. Messiah is the seed. He's going to crush the serpent's head. To crush a serpent's head means you kill it. But it's going to, that crushing of the serpent's head bruises the heel of the seed. That means it will hurt him. You ever hurt your heel? It's painful, isn't it? Well, crushing this serpent's head causes the seed to be bruised. Now, what does this implicate? What does this mean? Father is telling the serpent there's going to come forth a seed from the woman that's going to belong to her, going to be the seed of the woman. And the woman, as we know from Revelation chapter 12, the woman, remember the woman? She had 12 stars and the sun. She was clothed with the sun and the moon. And what does the Bible say about the remnant of her seed? It said, and the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of Yahweh and have the testimony of Messiah. What is the testimony of Messiah? I am not ashamed of the gospel of Messiah, for it is the power of Yah, that is Father Yah, unto salvation to everyone that believeth, to the Jew first, and also to the Greek. For therein, that is in Messiah's testimony, the righteousness of the Father is revealed. So they keep Yah's commandments and they bear witness of Father's righteousness through Messiah. The dragon was wroth with the woman, that is the woman that gave birth to the seed, Messiah. The dragon is wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of Yah and have the testimony of Messiah. The testimony of Messiah is the spirit of prophecy. Prophecy comes from Father Yah. The revelation of Messiah YHWH, which Yah gave unto him to show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass. And he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John, who bare record of the word of Yah and of all the things which he saw. See how it all ties together. So now Adam and Eve are looking for a Messiah. They know it's going to be a man. They know it's going to be a male. It should be her firstborn male. So they're looking for the Messiah, and that's their hope. Let's continue reading. Genesis chapter 3, starting at verse 15. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. And it shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. I don't know what part of that some sisters want to ignore to think that you're supposed to be in a position to teach brothers. What part of thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee don't we understand? I don't get it. Aside from what Paul said, the woman came from the man, and the man came from the father. So the father's the head of the man, and the man's the head of the woman. What part of that don't we get? With all of this false doctrine coming out here, I think this is pretty plain. And what else did Paul say? He said the woman was deceived. She was beguiled. The man wasn't deceived. And that's why the prophetic utterance of Isaiah also says, my people are ruled by women, which caused them to err. You want to see that? You want to see that? You want to see that? Isaiah chapter 29. Isaiah chapter 29. This is the third witness. So we got Moses as a witness right there in Genesis. We got Paul as a witness in 1 Timothy and in 1 Corinthians. And now let's get Isaiah as a witness. Why not? Let's get Isaiah as a witness. Let's see. Because, you got to have a mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. Man, where is that witness at? Just make sure I got it. I thought it was 29. Bear with me 1 second, family. I'm going to find it. I got to find it. I already mentioned it, so I got to bring it out. Hold on. I'm going to find it. I can't bring it out and not bring it out. I got to share it. All right, here we go. Here we go. Yeah, hold on. And this is I'm not trying to down women, but I'm trying to put everybody as the Most High has us in our proper place. You understand? Everybody has their proper place. There it is. Isaiah chapter 3. Isaiah chapter 3. I'm looking in the wrong 3s. I'm looking in 29. Isaiah chapter 3. It's Isaiah chapter 3. Yeah, I got it underlined. Isaiah chapter 3, verse 12. Here's a third witness for everybody that's trying to tell you women are supposed to be teaching men. Isaiah chapter 3, beginning at verse 12. Watch this. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err and destroy the way of thy paths. You want to see a way going backwards? Try to have a sister leading the religious movement. Yeah, 1 Timothy, that's Paul's witness, right? That's Paul's witness. 1 Timothy's Paul's witness. 1 Corinthians is Paul's witness, same witness. So again, that's one witness. Then you got Moses as a second witness. And here we got Isaiah as a third witness. We could also ask Solomon in Ecclesiastes. Yeah, we can ask Solomon. So we got, when you ask, you could have Solomon too. So you got 4 witnesses. Mouth of 2 or 3, let everything be established. So you can see here, it's clear that the Father needs men to lead his movement. Whenever you have a lack of men, a spiritual decline, one of the signs is that a woman will lead. Deborah, the prophetess, led Israel in the time of the judges. And you know what the Bible says about the time of the judges? He says there was no king in Israel. Every man did that which was right in his own eyes. There was no leader. They were like sheep without a shepherd, and they were scattered, and a woman had to be raised up. That was always the case. Whenever men were so apostate that the Father couldn't use them or didn't have one to stand in the gap, he would raise up a woman, which was a rebuke. That's a rebuke. In these last days, though, brothers and sisters, the Most High needs brothers to stand up, and he's going to get them. There's no doubt. He's going to have them. He's going to have them. Sisters going to get visions, and they are. You're going to get visions and dreams, and you're going to share them, and they're going to help guide the nation. But the leaders of this movement must always be the brothers. And it's going to be, okay? What we're seeing right now A lot of these, and again, I bring this up. Have y'all ever heard of the passport brothers? Y'all ever heard of passport brothers? Passport bros? You ever heard of them? Tell me if you have. Testing 1, 2, 3. Have y'all, especially in the United States of America, have y'all heard of the passport bros? Do y'all know what a passport bro is? What is a passport bro? That's a man that is looking for a woman, but he can't find one in the United States. So he gets his passport and he's looking overseas in third world countries for a woman. Why do you have to do that? Is there a woman in the United States? Yes, there is. But you got the women in the United States disrespecting men. Men are being disrespected. They're being disrespected in a couple of major areas. Women are being taught to disrespect a man, that they're equal to the man. In some cases, they don't even need a man. And then secondly, they're being disrespected by the alphabet soup movement. They're letting that represent men, especially Hebrew men. This is disrespect to men. And so man, that disrespect comes out when man is seeking a wife, a relation. It comes out. It comes out so bad that man get tired of it, and he goes and he tries to find a woman overseas with a different culture who's been taught to take care of her man. Brother come out, went to Thailand, find a woman. The woman makes his breakfast, cooks his food, cleans his clothes, cleans his feet. And you don't have to do that. This is what we do in our culture, she said. We take care of our man. They ain't trying to lead a man. They're looking for men. And brothers are running into these places: Thailand, Colombia, Ecuador, Philippines, Mexico. Brother went down to Mexico. This was a children of your faith, or the sister of your faith. Came from the United States, went to Mexico, started a YouTube channel showing Mexico. They seemed happy. Then suddenly we find out they broke up. Woman did not want to have children and raise a family. And homie said, that's very important to me. And she got real ugly when they broke up. Real ugly. Tried to take that man for all he had. And they wasn't even married. Men need a woman. Man needs a woman. Women were made to be with a man. Okay, now there's some men that don't need to be with nobody because they're just nasty brothers, right? There's some nasty brothers out there. Ain't worth nothing. There's some like that, no doubt. Okay, but for some reason, this is on a little bit different topic, but for some reason, the women seem to be attracted to the nasty brothers that ain't worth nothing. The hardworking brothers, the ones that will do the right thing, they don't seem to be attracted to them. They seem to be attracted to the nice word they use about it is bad boys. They seem to be attracted to bad boys. Dudes that don't care about them act like the fool. The more act like the fool they get, the more they care about it. That's how backwards things are now, brothers and sisters. That's how backwards things are. Man looking for a wife. There's a difference between somebody that gets married and somebody that's a wife. A wife takes care of her man. Takes care of everything for her man as much as she can. A wife respects her man. If you can't respect a brother, don't marry him. Don't just get somebody to fill your bed, man. Y'all know how that's working out. I ain't got to tell you. That ain't working out. A man needs respect. Above everything, a man needs respect. And a woman needs protection and love from a man. She needs love and protection. And a man needs respect. In these days, men dishonor women and women dishonor men. And so it's, when you see the men out here looking for a wife is what they're looking for. See, let me explain something that a lot of sisters know. Brothers could look at pornography and see what they want to have sex with. So if you start dressing like that, you start getting your body like that and having operations and fake hair and fake breasts and all that, they'll have sex with you. but that's not who they want for a wife. And so the question you got to ask yourself, do I want to present myself as a wife or as a porn star? What do you try? What do you want to look like? How are you carrying yourself? Are you carrying yourself as a wife? Because there's a difference. A man looks at it two different ways. There's a woman you want to have sex with, and you just want to leave her. You don't care about her. You just want to have sex with her. You can see her, and what she looks like turns you on. And you can have sex with her, but you don't care about her. See, a man, unfortunately, sisters, has this gene in him. He can physically get off on a female and walk away. He could do that. Don't get surprised at that. He could do that. But a woman that is honorable, a woman that carries herself with dignity and honor and shows respect for a man, he has a hard time walking away from that. Especially now, I have to admit it, if she could throw down in the kitchen, if she could cook, he'll be home. You ain't got to worry about where he's coming when you're making that food now. He'll be there. He'll be right there. Come walking in the house and he smells something in there, you got him then. First time I knew, after the Most High's voice hit me and said, this is her, was when we first had lunch after church one day and she cooked something and I smelled it. And it tasted like the most delicious food I ever had in my life. And I remember what it was to this day. That was almost 40 years ago. It was called cottage cheese loaf. And she made a gravy. It's like she made this looked like some sort of what you call that? It looked like a meatloaf, but it wasn't with meat. She made it with cottage cheese, and she made it taste like meatloaf, and it had the gravy with it, and she put this rice with brethren. I was like, okay, I'm marrying this girl, right? Then she had the nerve to come up with some peach cobbler behind it. It was done. It was done. Done. It was done. I ain't gonna front. I know that sounds easy, right? Just said, yeah, she could throw down. She could throw down. And I didn't know this, but the Most High knew this is what I needed. And I'm telling you, we go to restaurants, or even not even a restaurant. Somebody would bring something over. There was this dude, he fashioned himself as a chef, you know. He came over our house with this vegan chocolate cake. It was made out of, it wasn't really made out of chocolate, made out of carrot, but it tasted like chocolate. And my wife said, yeah, can I get the recipe? He said, nope, that's secret. She said, no, I just want the recipe. Nope, that's secret. And he prided himself. It's my secret recipe. I'm not sharing it. So my wife took a piece and she kept tasting it. And within a week, she duplicated it. So when homie came back, she said, try this. And he said, who gave you the recipe? She said, try this. And he thought for sure one of his sons or somebody gave her the recipe. Nope. She just tasted it, kept tasting it, and she got it. Don't mess with her. Or we go to a restaurant, I got to be careful how I talk. If I say, damn, this is good. What is it? How's it made? What is it? And brethren, it'll be in my kitchen. Now I'm saying, I know y'all sisters, y'all can't all be that bad. I mean, that's bad right there. That's something else right there. But I'm just saying, but you're getting my point. A man needs a woman to take care of him. Take care of him. Okay? Respect. And he will be glad to be there for you. He will break his neck for you if he's a good man. If you get one of these bad boys, you just messed up. But the Father will reveal to you, sisters, if he's a bad boy or not. If he's a man worthy of respect and the Father brought him to you, then he's going to greatly appreciate you taking care of him. He's going to greatly appreciate that. Okay? Sorry to get off on that tangent, but yeah, needed to get that straight. he shall rule over you. Your husband. He's the head. If you can't respect him, don't be with nobody. Worst thing in the world is a woman trying to be with a man and don't respect him. That's ugly. There's ugliness right there. Ugly. Or a man that don't know how to be a husband. Heavenly Father is good enough to teach us. Praise his name. He teaches a woman how to be a wife, and he teaches a man how to be a husband. Genesis chapter 3, starting at verse 16. And unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. And unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it, cursed is the ground for thy sake. In sorrow thou shalt eat of it all the days of thy life. Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field. See, prior to now, they didn't have to eat the herb of the field. Remember, the herb of the field was for the animals. See, now you're seeing a change in the diet right here. Initially, man's food was fruit. Everything with a seed in it was man's food. Okay, but now, and the herb of the field were for the animals. Well, now he's now added to man's diet, and he said, you're going to eat the herb of the field. You're going to eat stuff that you got to grow. This is different. Okay, he's added to man's diet, and that was for man's good, right? The herb of the field is for man's health. Verse 19. In the sweat of thy face thou shalt eat bread till thou return unto the ground. For out of it wast thou taken. For dust thou art, and unto dust thou shalt return. So is he saying, Adam, once you die, you're going to go to be with the Lord? Is that what he said? When you die, you're going to go to be with the Lord, Adam. What did he tell him? He said, I made you from dust, and you're going back to dust. That's the result of sin. Now, because of Messiah, there's a resurrection from the dead. From the dead. Messiah can call particles of dust by name. So if I die and turn to dust, Messiah I could be turned to complete dust. Messiah can call my particles by name, and I will come forth. Dust thou art, unto dust thou shalt return. And even they say that at funerals, don't they say it? Ashes to ash and dust to dust. They even have rap songs about that. Ashes to ash and dust to dust. Remember that? Well, we get that from Adam. Genesis chapter 3. Dust thou art, and to dust thou shalt return. Verse 20. And Adam called his wife's name Eve, because she was the mother of all living. So now all of the children of Adam and Eve was just that, their children. Children of Adam and Eve was their children. So all living beings started off out of one woman's womb, that is Eve. So that's why she's the mother of all living. Okay, she's the mother of all living. So now that's why he called her Eve. Adam named her because all living beings come from her body. Adam's seed and her body. Now, originally, she came from Adam. Isn't that something? Adam came from the hand of his father, and she came from Adam. And out of her came Adam's seed. All of the children of planet Earth, of which she had lots, were Adam's seed. But then she was waiting for that first male child. Let's keep reading. Now watch verse 21 very carefully, brothers and sisters. Watch verse 21 of Genesis chapter 3 very carefully. Are you ready? Genesis chapter 3:21. Unto Adam also and to his wife did Yahweh Most High make coats of skins and clothe them. Did you catch that? So Adam made himself a clothes for him and Eve out of fig leaves. Father say, take that mess off. Take it off. And Father say, put this on. And he got coats. But it wasn't just coats. He made the coats out of a skin. That is the skin of an animal. So Adam and Eve were covered with coats made from the skin of an animal. So what do we have there? We have a sacrifice. Father made a sacrifice for Adam and Eve and used the skin of the coat of the animal to cover Adam and Eve. Y'all see that? He said, and it didn't say Adam did it. He said, Yahweh Most High make coats of skins and clothe them. What was he showing them? That's right. He's showing them the sacrifice. That was the first sacrifice that was for sin. And they were covered with the sacrifice made by the Father. They were covered with these skins from their nakedness from a sacrifice made by their Father. And he was illustrating to them the sacrifice for sin that would come from the woman, that would crush the serpent's head. He was illustrating this for them with how he clothed them. See, they tried to clothe themselves with fig leaves. Father said, take that mess off. You can't cover yourself. You can't help yourself. Let me do this. Let me make you something that's going to cover your sin. Boom! First sacrifice for sin. And Adam and Eve are covered. Praise the Most High. Now, this is where we get the 666 from. Genesis 3:22. Watch carefully. And Yahweh Most High said, behold, the man is become as one of us, to know good and evil. See, Messiah and the Father know good and evil, but it doesn't affect them because they're in perfect righteousness, because Father is the Most High and Messiah is his only begotten. So they can see sin and it doesn't change who they are. But you and I, we get changed by what we see. Verse 22. Yahweh Most High said, behold, the man is become as one of us, that is, Father and Son, to know good and evil. And now, lest he put forth his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever, semicolon. Did you see that? So now the man starts to know good and evil. He thinks he's a God because he's now, the Father knows good and evil. The difference is the Father and Messiah are not affected by the evil they see. Man is. And so he's talking to his son. He's talking to the angel. And he said, man has become as one of us to know good and evil. And now, lest he put forth his hand and take and eat of the tree of life. What does that mean? Because if he'd have ate of the tree of life, sin would have been immortalized. And as now you can see, wouldn't that have been the object of Satan's trick? So now he gets them to sin. The next point is he must get them to eat the tree of life. That would guarantee eternal existence to sin. That's right. That is why sin is not immortalized. Sin causes death. All of us die. If the Father causes Messiah to tarry, all of us here are going to die because of sin. Okay. And only chance we get to eat of the fruit of the tree of life is in the kingdom of Messiah, where there is no sin and there is no death. From that point, we get to eat freely of the fruit of the tree of life and continue our eternal existence. That is why you see both in Ezekiel and in the book of Revelation, the wicked come to the camp of the Israelites. Why? Because inside the New Jerusalem is something he wants, the tree of life. Does that make sense? All he needs is one sinner to break through and eat one piece of that fruit, and it's over. So they come to Israel, they come to the New Jerusalem with the idea of surrounding it and taking it. But Father got another thought for them. But that's their last desperate move. So here you can see in the beginning, Father cut off Adam and Eve, and notice the wording that it uses. Verses 23 and 24 of Genesis chapter 3. Watch the wording that's used here with regard to this situation. Therefore, Yahweh Most High sent him forth from the garden of Eden to till the ground from whence he was taken. So Father said, get out, get out, get out, get out. And he drove out the man. In other words, Adam was trying to eat of the fruit. He knew that if he could eat of that fruit, he wouldn't die, even though he sinned. He drove out the man and placed at the east end of the Garden of Eden cherubim and a flaming sword, which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life. So before the flood, there was a garden. It was blocked off. Man could not get in there. They could not get near the tree without being destroyed. And apparently, as the flood was coming, it was taken away. Because we don't have it here now. But it's coming back, as the Bible shows us. It's coming back with the New Jerusalem. The tree of life is coming back. And that is why the sinners will try to surround the mountains of Israel, because there's something they want there. It's not just that they're trying to kill the chosen people, which they are. It's not just that. There's something they want there. There's a tree that they want to eat of. Isn't that sad? The tree came from the Father, and his created being seems to think that they have a chance to get what he put down. It's a last desperate attempt at rebellion that is destined literally to fail. It is destined to fail. Praise the Most High. So they had armed angels protecting the tree until such time as it be removed. Praise the Most High. Okay. That was Genesis chapter 3. Praise the Most High. So now we're going to be moving forward. The next Bible study will be in Genesis chapter 4 with the firstborn son. Genesis chapter 4, the firstborn son. May the Most High bless you and keep you and cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May he lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. So